Hey everyone, Miacidae here, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be starting a new game, Battle Brothers, if you can't tell. I think it's rather obvious. However, if you can't tell, we're starting Battle Brothers today. This has been one that's been recommended to me a lot. It's actually been requested a few times, and it's one I've actually been wanting to play. So I thought I would start it. However, that being said, I will put a few caveats here. This is one I've been attempting to play a few times, and I have put a little bit of practice into. However, I only have like 20 or 30 hours into the game, so don't expect any like really good plays or anything really big out of me here. And the run kind of ends when it ends. Like, I'm expecting to get fully wiped out at some point. So I have no clue how long this is going to be. I've seen that most runs end like around days 100 or so, and that's when like the big end game stuff happens. But I have no clue how long that's gonna take me to get there. I've seen that can be like episode 45 of 40 to 50-ish for most people, which is like 40 to 50 hours of content. So kind of hope for that much, but if I get wiped out before then, that is what I get out of it. And that's when I get wiped out is when I get wiped out, which has happened a lot in my practice runs. And trying not to make as much are things like archers don't do as well in combat during like night times is one thing. Also, I kind of want to go over this because just in case people are curious, these are the gameplay options I have enabled. I have the trees hidden away, auto adjust height level, so if you see things like suddenly pop up or go away, that's what's happening. I have the player movement and the AI movement go faster, otherwise things get really slow and bogged down. I do have the turns auto end. I've seen people say things about maybe I should have this turned off for like managing stuns and stuff, but I do have the equipment reset after battle. That has been helping me a lot, like with the fast hands, switching crossbows and bows out for like melee weapons, so I'm not messing that up as much. So some of the battles being restarted should be rectified by that, but not always. And I do have auto pause after leaving a city. That way where I'm deciding where to go, I don't accidentally forget to pause and time just goes on. And then for those of you who don't really know what Battle Brothers is, from my experience, this is a very low fantasy medieval time strategy game. Kind of like a, I don't want to say a D&D style strategy board, but a hex-clad strategy board, like kind of more or less like a board game where you get to move your troops around and there's enemies that kind of do the same. All kinds of weapons and armor you can equip each soldier with, a lot of different styles of combat to do that with. There's of course bows and arrows, throwing weapons, all that stuff. There are, I say low fantasy because there are monsters, and I believe there's a few enemies that can use magic. However, I don't think any of our troops can use magic. Now, if I pull this up, probably should have done this first. This is the actual description of the game from the makers of the game. Battle Brothers is a turn-based tactical RPG which has you leading a mercenary company in a gritty, low-power medieval fantasy world. You decide where to go, who to hire or who to fight, what contracts to take, and who to train and equip your men in a procedurally generated open-world campaign. The game consists of a strategic world map and a tactical combat layer. On the world map, you can freely travel where you want, take what contracts and earn coin, find places worth looting, enemies worth pursuing, or towns to resupply and hire men at. Once you engage a hostile party, you switch to a tactical map where you actually fight and detailed turn-based combat. So a lot going on, as you can kind of see, or maybe not see, but nonetheless. I do have a lot of the DLCs because I got that in a pack from like the Humble Bundle or something a while back. As you can see, I have most of the DLCs here. But with that being said, let's just get into a campaign and get to the fun. Now, there are a lot of company origins. These kind of are like how you start the campaign and give you certain buffs and in some cases debuffs. Also define your starting troops. Now, I'm not going to get into all of these, but if you do rebuilding a company, this is the tutorial. I'm not going to do the tutorial, but that's highly recommended for new players. What was actually recommended to me to start this off of, which I'm actually not going to do, sorry Jello, I know you really recommended this to me, was doing a new company or Southern mercenaries. These are a quick start into the world without any peculiar disadvantages or disadvantages. You just start with, I believe it's you just start with 3 experienced mercenaries. Southern mercenaries, you just start in the south, I believe it is, rather than just somewhere in the world. And then you can just hire whoever you want based on that. Otherwise, what I plan on doing is the Northern Raiders. There is a difference here. So the Northern Raiders actually starts with 4 people, 3 of which are experienced barbarians. They start at a higher level, and then they also start with a 4th person, which we'll get into in a bit. However, there is upsides and downsides to this. So my upside is I have a higher chance to loot any item from slain enemies as loot. I believe there is a hidden mechanic that was described to me that the more damaged an item is, the less likely you are to loot it. So if something gets destroyed, you're either very, like armor for an example, you're very not likely to get it, or like if it's totally destroyed, you might not get it at all. And something I liked about the barbarians here, or the Northern Raiders, is that if you destroy armor, which I do a lot, stupidly, is you still have a chance of looting it, which I liked. However, the bad side is I start with bad relations with most of the human factions. There's a way around this, and you can still do a lot. So that's why I'm okay with doing this. Bad things might still happen, but we'll get around that. The reason I kind of decided on this one is when I was doing a new company, there was a few fights where I really wanted some armor, specifically from a very high tier enemy that was probably out of my league at that point, but I had like a 5% chance of hitting this guy. So it was either shred the armor that I really wanted, and he was taking my targets out my group out left and right, or take him. And even after I shredded the armor, or I think I stunned him at one point and tried to take him out, and I didn't get the armor. So it was like, well, I did all that work and I lost half my troop and I didn't get the armor. So this would just give me the better opportunity to get that armor that I otherwise probably wouldn't have had a chance at if I had destroyed and gone the easier way about it. And in that fight, I had lost most of my good troops and couldn't do many good contracts afterward. So we'll do this. For most of your adult life, you've been raiding and pillaging in these lands, but with the local peasantry poor as mice, you may want to finally expand into the profitable field of mercenary work. That is, if your potential employers are willing to forgive your past transgressions. You start with 3 experienced barbarians, you have the pillager trait, so you have a higher chance to get any item from slain enemies as loot. This includes, as I described, broken stuff. I looted broken equipment before. And outlaws, you start with a bad reputation for most of the human faction. This includes most of the northern map, so we'll go with that. But as you can see, there is a lot of stuff you can do. I'm just not going to get into all of it. You can name your company, you can pick a flag. I just really liked this flag, but as you can see here, for those of you who haven't done this before, there are a lot of flags. You can choose a late game crisis. From what I'm told is, like, I haven't really delved into this, I've never seen it happen, but like a big thing that happens, nobles go to war, greenskins or like orcs and goblins invade, undead sweep across the land, or there is a holy war. I'm not sure what any of these do, so I'm going to leave it as random. You can put permanent destruction for cities. I'm going to leave that off just because I don't know quite what that's going to do. You can also set difficulty in multiple things, kind of like a few games I've done now. So economic difficulty is contracts will pay more and you'll be able to carry more resources. I'm putting that at veteran. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the best at this game, but I do have a little experience now. Starting funds medium once again, and combat difficulty medium. I'm not going to do Iron Man because a few things have frozen on me, and just like I said, I have been making silly mistakes every once in a while, so I don't want to like lock myself into that. Now, I have looked around for a decent seed to start on. That way, like, getting to the southern map isn't horrible, and the southern maps aren't bad. I don't know what a good seed looks like. I don't know what a good seed for my heroes in the Northern Raiders looks like, so you'll have to let me know if this is a good one. For those of you who play the game a lot, this is just one that I decently liked. So, after a few hours of looking around and playing on a few different maps. But that is the map seed I went through, rather than just, I'm going to start on a random map seed and just start recording. This is the one we're going with. I thought that would probably be the better idea. And there is a lot of, as you can see, a lot of dialogue here if we want to go through it all. So some of these, I might not read all of them. None of them are talked, like spoken through people. So I would have to read all of these. After you and your party slayed half of them, the villagers finally submitted. A white flag was raised, and they offered parley, which you were happy to grant. In a single line, they walked out into the town square, where they had been holding a festival. Jewels and treasure filled their arms, and they dumped the goods where you stood. A boot atop the smashed skull of their mare, your vanguard Lurky, Liard, Hilgerd, and Broker kept watch of the cemetery like buzzards watching over a slow death. Now this is where I'm a little confused, because it gives a few names of multiple people, but we only have 3 barbarians, so I'll have to see which of the barbarians stay around. And the last line was a monk. He had no gold or silver on him, but instead spoke to you, his words immediately drawing the weapons of your fellow raiders. You allowed him to speak, and he spoke at length of the old gods and how the treasures of the heavens supersede all of which Terra could offer. You told him his death was written in that wagging chin of his, and the monk pursed his lips. If you want gold, depart these silly games. This raiding and pillaging, it is all worthless compared to the treasures of the south. The nobles won't have you in their armies, but they are forever in need of mercenaries, but they rarely have the time or luxury of choosing where these hired fighters are from. You make all the crowns you'd ever want. Come south, raiders, and be sublimitated into Sellswords. Hilgerd demands the monk's head, but you stay his execution. Instead, you take the crafty monk at his word. You've long heard of southern riches and the travels of adventurers' swords for hire. You decide to venture south, so long as the monk comes with. Hilgerd protests, but you won't have it. If this pale little monk is your lucky charm to a new life, then it would be an affront to the old gods to leave him be. The raider storms off, but Lorky, Liard, and Broker have no qualms about following you. Okay, so that's the one guy that left. The rest of the war party returns north, a split in the loot being made. What remains of the village is left behind to recover, rebuild, and make new goods for stronger tribes to come take for themselves. We'll strike out south. So everything's paused here. You can see there's a gigantic map. Everything that is a red name does not like me. And in fact, we'll send out hostile troops to take me out. So I need to make it to these gray and red flagged maps, or cities, or lower, to even get contracts. Otherwise, I'm in trouble. So what we're going to do is we're going to level everyone up. So we have Lorky, I think that's Ired, actually, and Broker. These are our 3 barbarians, and then we have Ernest the monk, who earnestly talked us into going south. So there's 2 different ways to level up. Once again, going over this for people who haven't seen the game. You can level up in stats. You get this every level up from what I am aware. Probably up to like level 12 or something. And then you get perk points every time you level up. So for my berserkers, or my barbarians, I want Colossus, because bring on, hit points are increased by 25%, which also reduces the chance to sustain debilitating injuries when hit. So we go from 65 health to 81. I'm not sure if that math actually maths, but whatever. And then I want Student. Everything can be learned if you put your mind to it. Gain an additional 20% experience from battle. At the 11th character level, you gain an additional perk point, and this perk becomes inert. So that's my 2 perk points. Every time you use a point, the additional row becomes there until you get all of them there, all of them unlocked. So technically I could have taken something from the second row after I unlocked Colossus there. And then for the stat points here, I believe how it works is you roll a random amount 1 through 3 for every stat, or it might be 1 through 4. And then if you have every star you have adds 1 additional point to your roll. So that's why I have like a 4 in hit points here. And realistically, what we want on everyone in melee is health, melee attack, and melee defense, if I recall correctly. I might want to get fatigue and resolve up a little bit later. So that's what I'm going to be getting on Lorky here. His resolve is actually kind of decent. Yeah, we'll still take the melee defense, so his melee defense is 10. Ired, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take Colossus. And then we're going to take Student. And as you can see, his stuff is a little bit different here. I 100% want that melee defense. That's a 3 there, so melee defense is he's just harder to hit. Melee skill is they have a better chance to hit, and then, of course, hit points is... hit points. The higher maximum hit points, the less likely they are to suffer debilitating injuries when hit. We'll go over that when we actually get an injury. And we'll go over some of the other stats when they're actually relative. So, yeah, we definitely want that melee defense. So that's a 3. I was just thinking, do I actually want to put like any in resolve or fatigue? Because as you can see here, the fatigue at 100 does not match the fatigue here, which is 82, and that's just because the weapon and the armor I have on. Weapons will reduce fatigue, armor will reduce fatigue, so the more you wear, the less usable fatigue you actually have, and that gets worse and worse the better stuff you and heavier stuff you have on. So at some point you might actually want to put more fatigue on, or level up fatigue, but I think with the 80 health here, maybe, because he's going to have a lot of usable stamina later on, we take that. Actually, no, let's level up Resolve, because Resolve is how likely they are to run away. And then Broker here. Oop, I want Colossus first. And he has 90 health, which is amazing. I actually want to see something here. I want to see how these levels are going to go first. So if I get health on him, and then melee defense. For a different build I'm thinking of, I actually only need like 60 attack. So let's see how this goes. Because if I can get good enough rolls on melee defense here, I may not want to take Student. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this with him instead. So I'm going to do a different build with Broker here. And instead, he's going to take Pathfinder. So what this does is he moves better on difficult terrain. Action points for moving on all terrain is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 2. So when they move, you spend the same resources that you would to use to attack or use skills on moving as well. And more difficult terrain, the more it costs to move. So this would make it so that no matter what, he only uses 2 action points to move. And changing height levels also does that, and that would also no longer cost extra action points. So I'm going to take Pathfinder on him. And Ernest here is still level 1, and I don't have any gear for him because none of these guys started with an extra weapon. Sometimes that happens, and I did not. So the plan, I think, is I'm going to go from Lighter's home here. I'm going to kind of cut through the forest to evade the town here. And we're going to kind of hope to cut through all of this, maybe through here, and get to Granite Schnaz. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So let's go. I want to be avoiding the city, so go. Don't. Oh, you know what? We'll attack the peasants. I'm already very, very hated, and this might get me experience, and this might get me a weapon for Ernest. So he's going to hang out back here, and this is the combat map. So as you can see, like I said, when you move down, this gives a plus AP and plus fatigue for traveling up and down extra levels. So 8 fatigue. This is a resource that you would also use for actual combat. But then it's only 2 and 4 for traversing actual tiles there. Normally I would wait for them to come to me, but I'm not sure the actual peasants are. So I'm going to go like right there. Yeah, they're going to run back. Ernest, you can stay back. And then they're going to have a little bit of a height advantage there, but now we've locked Peasant 1 in combat. Broker can go over here and try to tie these guys up. And Lorky can go there. There we go. So we're taking a bit of damage. I think they just broke my hat. Alright, so let's take out the guy with the pick. What they actually have here is indicative of what they actually are using. So this guy's using a pickaxe, this guy is using a bat, and this guy also has a hat. So we just use Cleave, that put a bleed on him, put a little bit of damage. If I use Decapitate here, this does more damage if he is already wounded, so we're going to do that. And off with his head. Lorky, you're going to move up. You're going to... Yeah, we're going to try to hit the peasant. Wasn't expecting that one. I was thinking that would do some damage at most. We do not have enough to release the hound that we have on Lorky. And then we're going to batter with their axe. Is it an axe hammer? Or what is the deal with this thing? Axe hammer. A massive rusty hybrid of a hammer and an axe. Due to its blunt edge, it's more of the former than the latter. Nice little thing about this is it does 200% damage against armor. So it might not do the most damage, but until you get through armor, you usually don't do a lot of damage against health. And this thing just rips armor. Ernest, you can stay back watching the mayhem. This is what you signed up for, buddy. And then Peasant goes away. Now, we did get a broken nose from that pick to the face that Ayard got. So, -5 fatigue recovery a turn. I think normally you get like 15 recovery a turn, so he's only going to get 10 until this is recovered, which is 3 to 5 days. And then we got a pickaxe and the wooden stick from them, along with 18 crowns and some roots and berries for food, which the food in this actually does spoil. So that's something to take into consideration, is you do have food, you do have to feed your troops, and the food does spoil. I think I'm just gonna... Oh, not you. I'm just gonna give Ernest here the wooden stick. That way he can stun anyone that gets close-ish to him. But I also need him to start doing damage and start leveling up. Alright, so we're right here. I'm just scrolling out so I have a better eye on the map. I don't think I can take on the 7 Brigands. And then we can't... This is, like, what do we want to do with the camp, or the troops? What is our ambition? As is customary, you assemble the men to explain the company's next steps. Brothers, the Battle Brothers must show the world that we are forged of a hotter fire than the other mercenary bands. As our reputation grows, so will the influx of crowns to our coffers. Let us forge a path of greatness. What do you tell the men that the company will do? So we can go into the wilderness, discover a ruin, camp, or other hostile location on your own by exploring the land and destroy it. So what I've found is if I do this, I can't be on a contract to do it, but that could be done like while we're going down and taking, like, trying to get to the south. We need allies, which is a kind of good thing, upping our renown essentially, and like getting a good relationship with the place. Lots of riches to be claimed from caravans, but raiding for caravans is gonna kind of suck on the way down. Usually I get like 1 or 2 at most, or hiring 12 men. So I think I'm going to try to discover a camp or ruin on our way down, raid it, and do what we can. These brigands really want me. The problem with that is, like, I would be comfortable if there was less than 7. But one of my guys is also has a broken nose already. So, I mean, I could 3 versus 3. I win 3 versus 4. I probably win because of my Warhound. Ernest might help a little bit, but I'm not sure just how much. So like 5 maybe I could take out, I was thinking. But 7 might be overkill. Okay, what's in this one? Unknown garrison at the ruined temple. Oh, I shouldn't be risking this. Can't make out who you'll be facing. I can always run away. There are 14 ghouls. I don't think they're ghouls. But zombies, there are 14 of them. We're getting out of here. But now I know what's here. Retreat from battle. Are you sure sometimes it's better to do a tactical retreat and live and fight another day? Yeah. 14 of them. No way we get out of this alive. But if I could do it, you know. It would have been a nice little way to quickly complete that ambition. Usually I go with the creative friendship. There was even I think that's a necromancer there. Speaking of like guys who... Oh, then they attack me with 11 undead there. Yikes. They came out of the ruins to try to get me. Now there's 21 of them. We're running away from this as well. Yeah, no shot I get out of this alive. There's 21 of them. I thought it said there was 11, but no shot. Okay, that should buy me a little bit of time. Go, go, go. Yeah, it said there was 11 there. Why was there 21? Why were they faster than me? Okay, now there's only 11, but still, I don't think this is a thing we can do. I was trying to find out how their morale was doing. They're content still, okay. Because running away can lower morale, but... The undead are chasing me. Just gotta stick it out till morning, I think. I'm not sure that's actually a thing, but we'll see what happens in the morning. So, the city I wanted to go to is right here. But the problem with this is a... walled city, so I don't think I am actually going to get a... You know what? They can deal with it. So if I go here, I can't do a contract. Because walled cities, all that stuff, they are noble contracts. So this is just a place to hire people. Because morale will up spirits, pay for a round for my men, make them happy, get them drunk. But yeah, walled cities, until I get a lot further, they're not going to give me contracts because they're stuck up nobles. But now what I can do is I can hire people and see if I get anyone who is, well, I just need people as a start. So what I'm going to do is let's hire Lars here, the shepherd. Maybe Asiger here, the farmhand. I'm not sure if anyone else here would be good, but that's going to be our start. And most of our money. Good little bit of range, a little bit of health on Lars here. That's actually not bad. A little bit of tank ability on Asiger here, so that's actually good. We'll see how long they last. I also want to see if they're willing to pay for the silver bowl and the silverware. They're willing to offer a little bit more than what it's worth, and I need the money, so we'll do that. And we're just going to try to continue to a city. Not walled, not walled. This one is walled, but that'll do. So I'm going to go to Bolkenberg. And along the way, maybe I find something I can do. Probably should have checked that for like trade goods that I could sell or better food, something like that. Many brigand raiders, screw that. Many usually means I'm not getting out of that one. See if I can't lure them in. Well, I was hoping Bolkenberg would have some people to help fight, but some brigand thugs and a few brigand poachers, which are going to be ranged people. So this is going to be a rough fight. I'm going to wait for them to come to me. So I'm going to use wait here. Thankfully, their archers missed. Waiting, waiting, waiting. See if I can't stun the thug right there. And then we're going to chuck a rock at him. Ayerd here, let's do cleave, do a bit of damage, took out his armor. Go forward with Asiger, impale. He's now bleeding. I think he's not going to bleed out, but... So I am going to release my doggo. And that ties up these two. Can't attack now with the axe, but that's fine. Axeman down. And... if I get my way, the cleaver is going to go right here. So let's tie these two up. And then I'm going to go for the... one has a dagger, one has a short sword, I think. So let's go for the one on the end. Oh wait, they're both tied up now because of the dog. That works. And then that flag just means how likely they are to run away. The more the flag is up, the more broken they are. And oh, they got my doggo already. Oh, I really can't let Ernest go down. So gonna go at the brigand thug with the polearm looking thing here. Taking him out if we can. We cannot do anything with the sling, so we're gonna try to wait. Stunning. Taking him out. Now that that flag's up, they're gonna try to run away, so I'm gonna go at the guy with the flail. Then, because he's running away, I'm going to go at the guy with the knife. Then we're going to chuck a rock at him. Hitting Brigand Thug. You're in the way, so just going to cleave at him. Hitting the flail. Now, because once again, breaking, we're going to go tie up the archer. They can't shoot in close range, but they can stun me like that. Let's go for the poacher over here. Rock 1 hit. Rock 2 hit. Brigand Thug. They're down. See if I can't get something with Ernest here. Nope. Ernest got a hit. Make sure they don't get away. I think the slinger is running away. Ired. Let's go towards that archer. Can hit with the sling, maybe. Very minimal chance. 21, we got that hit. Lars, man. Wow. Was not expecting either of those. I'm going to keep Ernest out of combat. He's almost out of hit points, so, like, very likely to go down soon. That archer is going to get away, but... well, we might be able to get him. I'm going to try to run him down. Not sure how likely that is to happen, but... yeah, he's going to get away. Well, we got a few people here. Let's see here. Injured kneecap. The sensitive kneecap has been injured, resulting in pain with every movement and severely limiting the mobility of this character. 2 additional action point per tile moved, minus 40% initiative, will heal in 5 to 8 days. Well, considering that he almost died from that, yeah. We did get a lot of loot there. We got a open leather cap, we got 2 bows, woodcutter's axe, an actual dagger, we got a knife, got the reinforced wooden flail, and a bludgeon along with some arrows. Now some of that does need to be repaired, I believe, but a few of those are upgrades. I'm wondering if I want to be using the short bow over the staff sling here. So 25 to 40 damage, 30 to 50, ignores 35% of armor, ignores same armor, 50% effective against armor, 50, range of 6 tiles, range of 7 tiles, fatigue 4, fatigue 4. So the bow is better, like on all accounts. We just have to equip the arrows where the sling has like infinite ammo, I think. I am also going to equip him with the dagger just in case he gets into close combat. Then, these guys. So this axe, while good, has its issues. So 30 to 40 damage. And 40% damage ignores armor. 120 effective against armor. 35. Now note, one-handed versus two-handed. And I do if you don't have a shield equipped, you do get plus 25% damage for having double grip because effectively they're using 2 hands on 1 weapon. Yeah, 30 to 40 damage, 40% ignores armor, 120 effective against armor. This is a 2-handed axe. It does 35 to 70 damage, 40% ignores armor, 125 against armor. Shield damage of 12, shield damage of 30, maximum fatigue minus 14, maximum fatigue minus 12. The thing about this one is 4 AP a use, builds up to 13 fatigue, 6 AP a use, and so you can only swing this once, but builds up 15 fatigue, so they would get so much less fatigued by using this. And then I could give this to Broker, because I love the axe hammer, but if you look at this, 13 fatigue a use, 14 fatigue a use. So he can't use that very often. It's just that this does so much more damage against armor when it hits. So I don't know. I might keep using that. This is a better hat than what Ired has. So we can take this hat and give it to Ernest. And we'll see what Brokenberg has. Or Bolkenberg. There's a 2-star contract. I might go in there and do that. I do want to hire some people though and like see what's in the marketplace. We're probably going to need some food, so I'm going to buy that right off the bat. I do like throwing weapons more than the short bow and stuff, so I might get those as well, but that's going to depend upon who we hire. Now, I do like farmhands, and I do like brawlers, so let's see what we get. Gustav. He's another ranged one. So I am, although his range isn't that good, he's just going to level up ranged pretty easily. So we'll see what else we get here. Adler. He's very high on the fatigue leveling up, good health, and he's got a little bit of melee defense. So we can give him the flail's almost broken. I was gonna say we can give him the flail just because it's easier to hit with because it bypasses shields and stuff. Depending upon what that contract is, I might put the axe on him instead. And then I'll give Gustav the short bow. And we'll also give Gustav the knife. What I'll do later is I'll probably put a title on everyone, just saying what I plan on doing with them. I just don't want to give too much credit to anyone I'm just hiring. I also do need repair kits, tools and supplies, because you can't repair anything without those. So like this is going to take a little bit. I don't remember the exact math here. 1 point of tools and supplies is required to repair 15 points of item condition. So that's what you need to know. They do take up inventory space when you buy them, but they immediately get converted to this. And we'll go and do the contract. Probably bought too much there, but that's fine. Bertram of Brokenberg has been looking for you, Sellsword. He's down yonder in the village communal. I hope you do good. The people of Brokenberg are wary of your sort. But that don't mean their hearts can't be won over. Okay, so this is a escort 2 days south of here. Will it be dangerous? So if it's south, I should be fine with any of the travels. So what does it pay? 700 when the contract is done. So we'll do that. The only problem with this is I only have enough to pay for 1 day. So yeah, we'll leave it. So they're going to bring me from where I am to down south into Hob. I think what they're going to do is go to the left and then go down, which I should be fine with. Yeah. So basically with the trading caravan things here, I just have to sit back and they do their job. They feed me, and then I just defend them if they get attacked. An elderly woman carrying a basket crosses your path with the company. She gestures towards the goods, a pile of chopped firewood. If you want firewood, best stay clear what I got. You ask what she means. She grins all wily like. A shrat in the forest watched me do it. Gave me a proper permission to warm myself with this tinder. Didn't give my uncle permission. It tore my uncle in half and hung his flesh. I'm not sure what a shrat is, but perhaps ornamental value, you know? An enemy as this shouldn't be taken lightly. What is a shrat? But I guess that means there's an enemy around here that's pretty dangerous. Those peasants are just running away from me because they don't like me. They're from some other area, I suppose. Even though I'm trying to be legit. I don't have to pay everyone until afternoon on the next day hits, but here we go. Nomads. I saw nomads on the map. So there are 7 of them. We do have the caravan guards to help us out if things get nasty. They have a lot of shields. They have 1 slinger. Alright. Let's wait for them to charge at us because they are attacking us. Alright, Lorky, Off with his head. That did most of it. Broker. We tried. Ernest, I would love for you to get some experience here. But you're still on the edge here, and maybe I just move you here for now. I'm gonna move Gustav here in the hopes of hitting the Nomad Slinger in the back. I wasn't expecting to hit though. 53% chance to hit the Nomad Cutthroat. We miss, of course. Moving forward with Lars here, taking a pot shot at the Slinger once again. Ew, I can't get anywhere I want with him. People are in the way. We'll just end his turn for now. Get the high ground with the Ired. Go for the Cutthroat. There's hit 1. He's bleeding. Oh, they have some footwork stuff going. One of them switched out and I didn't get an attack of opportunity. So we're going to move forward with a Seeger here. We're going to hit the Cutthroat in front. We got a good hit here, so I should be able to decapitate with the Cleaver. Well, if nothing else, we do damage to the shield. Oh, we got a good hit on the Cutthroat there. Going for... we only have a 25% on this one. I will still go for the Nomad Cutthroat with Broker. Hit 1. Now, with Adler here, we have a Flail. Flails can actually go over shields. I just don't remember which attack it is. It's just their normal one here, Flail. So, trying to go over the shield. Got 1. Alright, can shoot at the Nomad Cutthroat here. We really don't have a good shot to hit, but take what we can get. If we don't shoot at someone we have, like, a direct shot at, or, like, are right next to an ally, we have a chance of hitting our own allies. So, I suppose we're shooting at the Cutthroat right here. But then we're gonna back up. I do not want Ernest getting in combat with this guy, because that's going to hose things up. Decapitate. That's another one down. These guys are really not helping much, are they? Alright, taking another pot shot at the Nomad Slinger. That's another miss. Trying to go for the Cutthroat with Broker. Yeah, we got the good hit. He's almost down. Just going to go for the one by Adler. That's them down. 4 left. If I move up a tad, we can hit this Nomad Slinger and whiff it. Thankfully, they're guarding me a bit down here. Let's decapitate on this Cutthroat. Then we can move down. This nomad cutthroat wants to run, so I'm going to focus on the one that just moved in. Moving in to both block this guy, and now the nomad slinger can't use his sling. We got the first shield guy there. We got the kill on the one that was running away. That way we actually get his loot, and I believe we get experience for that now. I'm not sure how experience is shared if the caravans get him. And for the nomad slinger. Missed with your club there, buddy. And we missed a ton, but that is what it is. And decapitate. So Lars, Asiger, and Ernest all leveled up. We got some good gear. We got a thick nomad robe that is broken, but if we repair it, it is better than a lot of stuff I have. A scythe, which is better than most of the swords. I think that's like better than the short sword. So it's a decently good sword. Militia spear. So both of these have plus accuracy to hit. So I'll probably be using these, actually a few spears. A nomad sling is actually better than the staff sling. So as you'll see, 35 to 50 damage rather than the 25 to 40. So effectively this does the same damage as the short bow, but the 35 to 50 does the same damage of ignoring armor, but it does more effective against armor. So it is slightly better than the short bow. And has the infinite ammo once again. And some shields, which will be nice because I have some people that I would effectively like as tanks. Some food, some crowns, medical supplies, which help just healing because you do need the medical supplies to heal injuries. Extra ammo, extra tools, all good stuff. Also head armor. Good head armor. So we'll equip all that jazz. So let's see here. We're gonna want... I know this seems like a waste to repair this because there is a lot better armor out here. And he has the sackcloth, which is 10 armor. But if I repair this, it's 50 armor on Adler. And we can get the 50 armor nomad cloth on him. And then Ernest can get the head wrap there. I also want him to live, so I'm going to put on one of the shields. That's a Darga shield. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But that gives him plus 15 melee defense, plus 20 range defense. That just is going to keep him alive. I was thinking of making Adler a tank, so I'm going to throw one of these shields on him as well. Let's see here. I want to sort this stuff just so my brain works better. I'm thinking of putting on the Nomad Sling just so we can do a little more damage with the person who does range damage already. He also leveled up. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put Student on him so he levels up faster. Then let's see here. We're going to take the ranged skill so he can hit easier. He has a lot of stamina already, so that's good. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to take hit points, and then his resolve, I'd like that at least at 40 so that it's... I like it around 40 so they don't break as easy just from people taking hits. I've had that be a problem in the past. So 40 seems to be a sweet spot, if not a little higher, 45, 50. Ernest is going to be someone very specific. So I need him to have Student. And we are going to take... Oh, that's a bad level. He's going to take Melee Skill, Health, and he's actually going to take Resolve. Even though he has 55, he's going to be doing something very specific later on. He's going to be what's called a Bannerman. He's going to hold my banner. So his Resolve being higher is going to higher everyone else's Resolve, more or less. So the higher Resolve he has, the more likely he's going to keep everyone else together. And then a Seeger, let's see, you were possibly a Ranger, possibly a Tank. We'll see how this level goes. We got 3 range defense. I think I want him as a tank. So if I start building him this way, he's going to have something very specific that I want. Then I can grab the little bit of... I mean, I'm going to need a health eventually, but we don't need that much melee skill. So we're almost at the limit where, like, I can just not take melee skill, and I can take Colossus on him, because he is 85 then. Alright, let's have them continue. And then I can get down to Dahab. Now the problem here is I might not get down there until afternoon, and then I haven't paid everyone then. Which they're going to be very angry about. But I'll have the money by sundown. There they go. And now I have more than enough money. Alright. A lot of contracts here. There is an arena, so I can take more money. I'm probably going to do that. I just want to take a look at what all is available here. So our trade goods are just overly expensive. There's a few other things here. Okay. So I'm probably not getting the best prices on stuff. Few fun weapons. The javelins are definitely overpriced. But let's do the arena for some fun. Your opponents will be 2 recently retired bandits, and by retired, I mean taken by the Vizier's lawmen, of course. No bandit willingly steps foot in here. Oh boy. He points to some strange-looking collars and continues. When you're ready, put these on 3 men who will be doing the fighting. This lets us know who to take into the pits. Anyone not wearing these will not be allowed in. Not you, not the Vizier, and I dare say even the Gilder may be turned down. Alright, let's do this. I get 660 crowns for doing this. I'm not sure what gear they're going to be using. I've had very good luck and I've had very horrible luck. I'm hoping this early in the game it's not going to be too bad on me. So I'm just going to throw my 3 barbarians in there and hope for the best. So I realized I had the wrong people going in here. I didn't equip it on the person I wanted to. I had it on Adler rather than Lorky. So that was going to make a significant difference. So back into the arena. And the plan here is going to be waiting for them to come to me. Waiting for them to come to me. That way I am not wasting actions. And then once I get there, having nothing to attack them, and then they get a full round attack on me. So I'm going to do this. Then Ayard comes here, hits the outlaw. Lorky might not get the attack, darn. But then Broker, bonk 1, bonk 2. They're spreading their attacks out, that's a little odd. Decapitate, that's 1 down, moving forward. Lorky, let's see if we can hit the... I think this is a pole mace. This has the potential of doing a lot of damage. But if we're in close combat with him, I think he gets a minus to hit us. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to get any of these weapons from the arena, but we can at least take him down. Okay. Not as bad as I think. We did get fractured ribs, so minus 30% fatigue. Fractured ribs send a wave of pain through their body with every breath. I can say that, yes, from personal experience, that is a thing. So that heals in 3 to 4 days. Mine took a lot longer, but sure, 3 to 4 days. Lorky and Ayard leveled up from that, which is great. And we got the money from it. I probably should have read that. And we can only do 1 arena a day, so after that we can do a contract, which I will be doing in the next episode. But for now, leveling up Lorky. Let's see here. I'm going to do Adrenaline here, looking at the build I want to do. This unlocks the Adrenaline skill, which puts you first in the turn order for the next round, which effectively gives you another turn before the enemy. So, like, say he goes last, and then he would go first. That's sometimes how it works. If they can have low initiative versus high initiative. Then he wants high attack. He has high enough HP, so we want melee defense, melee attack, and we're gonna want some fatigue for later because that stam is gonna go down with some gear I'm gonna be using, I think. Because this is gonna get to like at least a -12, I think, so that's gonna be a -5. Yeah, let's level up fatigue this once. So, skill, melee defense, and we're gonna level up fatigue this time. Because his health is great. I might level that up a little bit more later, but Ired here is gonna do the same. Adrenaline. So I get that extra action, possibly. We're gonna do melee attack, melee defense. He has slightly lower health, so I want to get that up a little bit more. And then, I may be hiring people just because some of our big people are now injured. So that way, Ired and Ernest can sit out for a few days, and I'm content with the roster, effectively. And I have some good luck sometimes with these indebted. The problem there is I don't have much gear for them. This thief has a very high range skill and resolve with some hit points, so I'm going to be giving them a short bow as well. I'm getting kind of lucky with all of this. So we're going to take these arrows and slap it on him. And then this peddler comes with some gear, so let's hire them. We can hire like really high level people, like obviously there's gladiators here, but you can see the price for them is ridiculous. 5,000 gold for a level 5, but then they do come with some good gear as well. And then this guy has some high, like he's gonna level up melee pretty well, and high initiative, high resolve, or not resolve, fatigue, so he could potentially do some damage later on. So because he doesn't have the highest attack right now, I'm gonna give him I was gonna give him the scythe, but I don't really want to repair it. And we'll still repair it. And then just keep him alive, a shield. He's gonna be a little bit of a damager, filling in for Ired there because he is not looking great. And we'll keep those two out for a little bit, a few days. And then we'll do some of these contracts in the next episode. I'm looking to that. So that'll do it for this time. Hope everyone likes this because I really like Battle Brothers. I've been really enjoying myself playing it. You'll have to let me know what you think. If I'm playing stupidly, well, all that jazz. And if you have any tips for me, down in the comments. So that'll be it for this time. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. And otherwise, as always, I wish you all well. I'll see you next time, and please, have a good one.